Luke, here we are. Leeds is here. I know it's the one that you look forward to more than any other, and it's probably one that you need to go and win like you have the previous 2 years as well.
Yeah, it's always going to be the one I look forward to from the calendar. I put myself in a better position last year. I played a bit better last week. Sorry, I played a bit better. And I don't have to win tomorrow to stand a chance now. It's like you win my first round tomorrow, and then I can win my next round in Birmingham, and then obviously I'm in a chance to possibly be fourth versus fifth for straight knockout. That's the scenarios that can happen. So it's not a must win for me. The first game probably is, but yeah, it's always one I look forward to the most.
You touched on last week. How big was that in Aberdeen? I know you'd be gutted not to win the night, but to beat Michael and then make the final, how big was that?
Yeah, it was. I win, I stay in the chance of qualifying. I lose, probably over for me. I think 7 points is catchable, but it's kind of looking at a point now where you're really staring, down the barrel. To be fair, so it was a must-win game. I did say that in my pre-match interview, and I won, and obviously beating Gian as well was important because he's tight with me as well. So it's a shame that I didn't have a good leg in them last three against Luke, Gorn, and Wings. If I did, I would have been right on the tails of not just Michael Gezi then, 3 points behind him, but it is what it is. It was important 3 points for myself. So hopefully I can build on it tomorrow.
Do you prefer that scenario where you know it's must win, a bit like a knockout tournament and so on? Because the Premier League can be that mindset of, oh, I can put it right next week, I can put it right next week. But do you prefer this scenario that you're in, knowing that you have to win?
Yeah, I think it does. I think it sort of mentally makes you focus harder. You know that you can't be messing around and you can have a bad thing. Go, well, I'll be better next week. That's not the case anymore. It's kind of every week I'm playing is so important. And I think that benefits me a little bit. You see, with the way I changed my throw, I changed it a little bit just to make it, more. I just feel a bit more in control with it, and I feel like that's something I wouldn't usually do if I had another 8 9 weeks to go because I know it's crunch time now. Yeah, I try to do something to improve it, the stableness of it.
Do you feel that people are being a bit harsh on your game? Because yes, you're not in the top four, but overall, the performances have still been good, the numbers have still been good. So do you feel perhaps the criticism has been a little bit harsh?
Uh, I don't know, really. I think everyone's entitled to the opinion on it. That's the whole part of sport, and the pundits can say what they feel and what they see. No one's right, no one's wrong. But I do see that obviously going 12 or 13 weeks without a weekly night win is not up to standard. But the strange thing is, I probably performed better this year than I did last year, average wise and scoring wise. I guess it's pretty obvious why I am where I am. It's my doubles that have let me down and timing's let me down. And that's probably something that I've been really good at over the last 2 to 2.5 years. So yeah, I think if it comes back to how it usually is and the scoring's like it is, you're going to see me back to normal. And to be fair, I think the doubling was pretty decent last week and the scoring was good, and you see a much more consistent week for myself. But yeah, when that doubling's on form and obviously the scoring's with it, then I'm back to normal. But it's just been a couple of months where it's been a bit too up and down.
Cheers, Luke. Thank you very much.
Thank you, mate.
Hi, Luke. Thanks for your time. We've seen over the past few weeks that the atmosphere at Ellen Road and I Predict a Riot has sort of driven your club to almost safety now. Not mathematical, but it looks very safe now in the Premier League. Can I Predict a Riot send you back to your defence, your Premier League? You knew where I was going with that.
Uh, I mean, of course it can. It can give you that little bit of buzz, a bit of a spur on. It's always a bit of added pressure when you're playing in front of a crowd that obviously is a little bit more going to be warming to you than others because, uh, you want to win more than ever. And I need to win more than ever, to be fair. But yeah, it's something that has been on my shoulders the last 2 years, and I've probably performed to how the standard I'd wanted to. So hopefully tomorrow it pays dividends again. And I mean, doing a hat trick would be quite surreal, but it's capable. And if I can do it, then it definitely helps my top four goal as well.
You've been at Ellen Road quite a lot as well. I mean, that atmosphere there has been sensational. Your home form has been sensational. Again, you can sort of bottle that, can't you, and use that as motivation rather than a fear factor.
Yeah, of course. When you've got that buzz and that adrenaline flowing through you, sometimes it can make you it can spur you on and make you even better than you naturally are. Yeah, I think the last two times I played there, the buzz of it has really helped me, push me on. And, I wasn't never giving in. It was always some of the games I played has been a bit of a scrap, but I didn't want to lose, desperately didn't want to lose. And I feel like that is sometimes what you need. And it's going to help me tomorrow. It's going to be a tough game with Josh because he's starting to get a bit better. He's starting to find his feet a little bit more now. He's going to be up for. I'm going to be up for it, and there's a lot to play for myself. So even if I won in Leeds, this is another big game for myself. Obviously, having them behind me is going to help.
To use one final football analogy, sometimes when a team comes up from the Championship, they sneak in to the playoffs right at the last minute, and they have that momentum, and they go on to get promoted by Wembley or whatever. Do you feel that if you can sneak into that top four, that will be the pressure will be off from there, and like you can go to the O2 free of pressure and go and play your best and win the tournament again?
Yeah, I guess so in a way. Obviously, you're still a defending champion, so the pressure is going to be slightly on your shoulders still. But I think what you kind of referring to, which I agree with, is you kind of slipped in. You kind of looked like you probably weren't going to qualify for the most of the tournament. Then you somehow get in, and then if you manage to win it, it's all a bit of a bonus in a way, isn't it? But yeah, I think this would probably be more impressive than last year because obviously last year I'd already qualified by 13th week, and it's always nice playing the last 3 weeks with no pressure on your shoulders. When you're in a dogfight for it to qualify, you get there and you've probably not been one of the top two players in it. You probably feel like, well, this is kind of a free run. If I don't win my semi-final game, I'm probably lucky to be here. You know what I mean? So you could look at it that way. Obviously, if I do manage to qualify, then I'm going to still feel like that pressure's on my shoulders to go on and win it because I'm going to be the reigning champion. And I don't want to be the reigning champion and not at least have a go at trying to defend the title.
Well, thanks for your time again, and good luck tomorrow night.
Thank you very much.
Hi, Luke. Thank you for your time. You touched on it, but last week you slowed your throw down, which was, I think, quite a surprise to us all. How difficult was it to make that decision? Because your previous throw had won you nearly 10 major trophies in the past 3 years. So to change your throw and really slow it down must have been quite a big thing for you to do.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if you remember, I did it in the Grand Prix in the Grand Slam. I slowed it right down. I don't know if you remember, but I did. That was last year, and I had some good performances there. I actually probably had one of my highest ever tournament averages in the Grand Slam, which I lost to Luke. So it has worked before, and then obviously slowly but surely you forget about it and you start going back to your normal throw, and then it works well for a good few months, and all of a sudden it starts to struggle again, and then you revert back. I think sometimes this game's all about bit of touch, a little bit of a feel. If it feels great, keep with it. If you need to change something, do it. I always find every month my throw changes. I'm slow, fast, even faster. It's just how it feels on the day. And obviously I ain't been going well, so I thought go back to that what I was doing in the Grand Slam. Really methodical throw, and it worked. So I'm just going to stick with it now and see if it can get me through to finals night.
How testing has this Premier League campaign been, and how difficult has it been to sort of keep focus and not get too disheartened when things haven't gone your way? I remember a couple of weeks ago, he was a last leg decider versus Johnny Clayton. He takes out 84 on the bull. When you see things like that happening to you after missing a match start, how difficult is it to try and just almost focus on the next game and not get too disheartened by things like that?
Yeah, you kind of sometimes it make you feel like it's just not going to be your year or your tournament. And for me, the doubles have been what's really killed me. I think there's so many games I could go through now that I probably felt like I should have won, but it's all ifs and buts. The doubles have been definitely the thing that have let me down. But if the next 3 or 4 weeks the doubles are going well, it's an opportunity to go on and lift the trophy still. That's the most important thing. But yeah, when the results ain't going your way, it's hard to keep your motivation up and your confidence up. The next game, I think there's a couple of times I'd lost 2 or 3 on the trot, and then your confidence is a little bit low. You're under pressure to not keep losing all the time. So it's hard. The last 2 years I've been in it, it's been like winning all the time and finals all the time. And when it's not, it's kind of a new experience for yourself. You have to dig in and see what you're really made of. So for myself, if I do manage to qualify, I'd be really proud of myself because that would have showed I've really dug in deep and managed to find something quite special just at the right time.
After making the final last week, you are starting to put pressure on the guys above you now. Do you think they're going to be feeling that pressure, knowing that the defending champion is now breathing down their neck and they might not make it to the O2 after all?
Yeah, I mean, for me, it's like when you've been a professional for so long, you're kind of used to these scenarios. Michael Mango will not be worrying about it too much. He'll be quietly confident in himself that he can get the job done. And for myself, I'm the same, and I'm sure Jiang will feel the same as well. So obviously, this is a new scenario for Jan, so this is different for him. But he might flourish in the fact that the pressure might do him good. I don't know, but obviously they know now that I'm not going to whimper away. I'm going to give it my all. I'm going to keep pushing, and I'm going to keep trying to get myself in that top four. I'm not going to go out in a whimper. So yeah, I know Michael's got 2 tough games to come. And if he can't win one of them, and me and Jan can win our first round games, you could see us both playing in a decider in Sheffield. That's in my mind is all I ask of myself. Getting to that position where you are in a one game shootout with someone, if you're fourth or fifth, winner goes through. That will suit me down to the ground. At least give myself an opportunity then.
Cheers, Luke. Thank you. Good luck tomorrow.
Thank you, mate. Thank you.
Luke, thanks for your time. Obviously, Galen Price is in third position at the minute. Do you think he's done enough to qualify on 21 points, or do you think you can catch him at this point? I mean, obviously, you're only 5 points behind, so do you reckon Galen Price has done enough to do it, or do you think that he can still drop out?
No, I don't think 21 points would be enough if he didn't win another game. Not from experience from previous years. I think to myself, I have to win at least 5 to 6 more points over the next 3 weeks to even stand a chance. So, yeah, you still will have to win a game or maybe 2. I don't think he's safe, but for himself, he'd probably think he'd win at least 2 games out of the next 3. But anything can happen. You're playing against the best players in the world. That a couple of bad performances, it can really cost you. And when you're in the top 4 for such a long time and you're like 5, 6, 7 points in, you kind of relax. You think, well, win a game here and there and I'll be fine. But when you're not, it gets to a struggle. And if I'd have won, last week, you'd have had 2 players within 3 points then. So yeah, I don't think anybody's safe. And still, Bunting could qualify. He wins 2 nights and he could be in 5th place and be fighting. So yeah, it's still plenty to play for, really.
Yeah, when things aren't going well for yourself, like behind the scenes, do you practice more, or are you sort of doing your same sort of routine? How do things change when things aren't going well for yourself on the stage?
To be honest, I don't really change much. I don't think there's much going wrong with my game. It's just my doubles. That is the problem. It's not like the scoring's going bad, or it's really the finishing. And if anything, I'd probably have a bit more of a practice on my doubles rather than just scoring. But I wouldn't practice any more or any less. I'd just maybe throw at the doubles a little bit more. I guess me tinkering with my equipment a lot has possibly been a factor in the doubles not going well and stuff. So I've gone back to my old points, old flights last week just to see if I can get back to normality. And they worked last week, so we'll see. If I can keep up.
Thanks for your time, mate.
Thank you, mate.
Hi, Luke. Just quickly on that sort of, how is your mood going into the final push? Obviously, you got 3 nights till final night. Last week, you put yourself in a good position. Are you feeling confident, or are you feeling any pressure? Are you feeling ready for it?
Yeah, you kind of feel all 3, to be honest. You're confident, you're under pressure, but you're looking forward to, the scenario of who knows what can happen. This is a scenario that I've not been in the Premier League yet, but I just knew to myself before that I'd played in the Premier League, you're just not going to qualify easily every year. It's just not how it works. And sometimes there's going to be years that you're going to have to really find something deep, and it's not going to go your way, and you just have to understand that. I'm one of them players that understands that if I don't qualify, so be it. It's not going to be like that's it. The decline of my career. It doesn't define you. So it's just you have to accept that it's not been my year. I've not played my best darts, even though I'm still doing okay. But I have to find an extra level in me in the next 3 weeks to try and qualify. So there's loads of things, excitement, bit of pressure on me, but also that adrenaline that I'm looking forward to, and I can't wait to crack on again.
Cheers, Luke.
Thank you very much.